Diana.
And I'm Lavonda, and we're Homeschoolific. So this video, we wanted to come in to talk to you all about reasons why we would not homeschool, reasons why we would suggest other people to not homeschool, and take it with a grain of salt.
And there might be ways, like we'll give you ways to like homeschool if you do want to with these, but also tell you what the drawbacks are. All right, so give me your first one.
Mine is you should not homeschool if your spouse is against it. Not on the fence, not unsure, but if your spouse is a no, we're not going to homeschool. A hard no. I feel like that is not a reason to disrespect your spouse, really, and still do it. So you still need to be in agreement. There's going to be so many other people that are going to be against you homeschooling. You don't need it to be your partner, right? That is not who you need it to be. You need to be on one accord with a decision like this because it's a family decision. It's for your family. Homeschooling it's for your kids, but it's for your family.
And that's not to say like you shouldn't actually try to talk to your spouse about it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even find a common ground. Like, maybe you don't do independent homeschooling. Maybe you do school at home or you do virtual schooling.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's the middle ground that you come to.
Yeah, find a compromise, 100%. But if they say no, if it's a hard no, I think you should not just jump the gun because that also causes tension within your marriage and your relationship. And so I don't know. I think I would pray for the other person, for God to change their heart, or open their eyes or whatever it is. But I would not do it if my husband was a hard no.
Well, my husband made me homeschool and I didn't want to.
At some point you agreed because
I did.
The other one was if your career matters more to you than homeschooling your kids, you shouldn't homeschool. Because if there's a tug of war between your career that you love and homeschooling, not your kids, you love your kids, but in homeschooling your kids, you're gonna lean toward your job. Like your career is gonna be more important. That's where your heart lies, and you're gonna lean toward that, and then they suffer, right? And your heart for your children is much greater than that, right? But your heart for homeschooling may not be.
And you could though, if you wanted to, you could do something like where you're homeschooling, like again, school at home. You might have someone that homeschools your child for you. It doesn't mean your child couldn't be a homeschooler. It just means that you're probably not the most ideal person to do it. Because keep in mind, homeschooling is a career. You think about that when you take your kids to public school or private school, there is a person who has gone to school and has made a career to teach your student and other students. It is actually a career whether you pay for it or not. It's very time consuming. It's not something that should be taken too lightly when you consider that you're only, educating your child for their whole future and all. Some people actually take a more relaxed approach to it. So, I think that depends. But the problem I think it is when even as a working parent, and that's kind of my thing is like, as a working parent, you might want to think about if you should do traditional homeschooling. But the thing about it is like to give your children all, like even the experience, like the people who say, well, all your kid needs to do is be around you, and that's enough to homeschool. Well, even if you have that approach, how are they supposed to be around you if you're away working all the time?
Constantly.
It's one thing if they're working with you. There's a lot of skills a kid can learn working
absolutely
with you.
Alongside.
Yeah.
Right.
But
this is my job. I spend lots of hours
away from them.
Yeah.
Or like not focusing on them even if you're home.
Right.
That's not the same thing.
No.
You should really consider other options if that's you.
Right.
And like I said, I gave you some of those options that you could do, but if you are adamant about them being at home when you school, but you should not be that person, even if you have a job that takes you, like it has you work a lot. Like if it's just a job that makes you work a lot, we've both been working homeschool moms. You can work and homeschool, you can do it. But I outsourced, as did you.
Yeah, there's
a lot of we did not do everything ourselves.
No, and if your career is, if it takes up a lot of your time and it's also what you're passionate about, and you know that the two there's going to be a tug of war. 100%, like Daniel was saying, there are lots of virtual schools where your kids can do school at home being taught by a teacher. That is always an option.
Yes. So you can still school at home. You still have a child schooled at home, and you can have them even homeschooled by somebody else. It just means that you should not do it.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the next one you have?
If you are seriously or terminally ill,
yeah,
at that point, I would not suggest to homeschool. I would say if this is a time where you're spending time with your family and loving on them, not focus on that. Let someone else handle those things. I'm not saying to put them in school. I'm just saying you don't do it. There, like we were saying, virtual options, lots of things, so that way you can still have them near a tutor. Yeah, a family member who's homeschool or willing or enjoys those. You can't be the one that does it. There's a point where you do need to focus on
your healing, and if you want that time, maybe you can be an aide or something like that.
Yeah.
But focusing on having that quality time with them in different ways, like maybe you're the one that reads with them or whatever. That time you get that very intimate time, not the time where you're going to be really frustrated during math, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or when they're done. There's so much patience that has to happen, and when your body's going through healing or you're facing death, and that's a very emotional thing to go through. And I get emotional just schooling my kids sometimes. I have had to go to my closet and just cry. So I couldn't imagine going through that kind of illness.
No.
That's just, yeah. So
absolutely.
I totally agree with you there. And then I would also say, if you're a parent who is maybe like a single parent that's working a lot and you don't have support, so a lot of people are going to tell you, and I do know single parents that successfully homeschool their children. And I mean, not just even virtual school. Some of them actually homeschool their kids. They do it off hours and things like that. But they have support. They have homeschool friends, family members, whatever, that takes their kids to things. I know one mom, she actually has her mother homeschools their children in the daytime, and then does certain things in the day, she does certain things at night, and then her mom or other homeschool families will pick up her child and take them to homeschool events.
Yes.
And so that child is still getting a very rich education,
Absolutely.
Still getting to do all the things that they want to do, but it's doable. But if you don't have a support system in place
as a single mom or a single parent,
homeschooling, and you work a lot, not this I got flexible job or I work from home. I mean, you work a lot. Let's say you're like a nurse and you're pulling 12-hour shifts and you're doing this 4 days a week. You should really consider if that's the avenue, because the other thing is that while you might be able to fit those 3 days in with your child to get their schooling in, there's 4 days they're at home. And what are they doing
without you?
Yes.
Right. And nobody else. And without that support system, they're getting into stuff. Okay?
Or unhealthy habits of just eating and playing video games or watching TV. You know what I'm saying? What are they doing to feed their time, to feed their mind? These are just things that people just won't tell you. They'll just tell you, just shopping at home is the best thing for them.
Do it.
And, we are both, obviously, we're homeschoolific. Our goal is to have you homeschool your children, homeschool them effectively. So if we're saying, consider this love, we're not saying that lightly.
No.
I believe everyone can do a form of homeschooling if they truly want to do it. But you need to alter your plans if you fall in one of these categories.
Yes. Support, really for all these things. That is the basis.
I think the spouse thing is the only one that would be a hard thing. There are so many options where you can really find a common ground. Even Odyssey would be something that.
Yeah. So Odyssey is a program where the kids do most of their work digitally, and then they go in once a week.
Yeah.
And they have teachers.
Yeah.
And
So it's just 1 day of school. A week. And
so if your spouse feels or your significant other feels you're not capable or whatever it is, or they're not sure, how the kids are going to turn out if you do it. Ease in with those types of things, right? So it's not you homeschooling, but they do school at home, right? So it's really like the gateway drug to homeschooling.
That's how I got there, guys. I've been on this stuff since then.
I am not supporting drugs. I'm just saying that's what it's like. This is a metaphor, okay?
Yeah. It actually, it's nice though. Like, I didn't love the time and everything that it took to virtual school, but what I did love is having that teacher support. It was everything for me. Like, it actually, as much as I fuss and gripe about the first year, I don't think I would have made it through the first year either way because I had too many insecurities. And that having that teacher there to like talk me through things like, hey, he's having problems with this, I don't understand. Having a trained professional to help me through was really helpful. Which, if you need a trained professional, you can contact us.
Professional homeschoolers,
not teacher, homeschooler.
Yeah.
And
I'm not a certified teacher.
I am a
certified
homeschooler. I was certified by Nevada itself. I mean, it took nothing to get that certification.
That's true. That is true.
But I am certified.
I certify myself. It's been 11 years, I think. 16 years. It counts.
And I've graduated.
And you've got, I haven't graduated any yet, so.
But she'll graduate. Don't worry, she's good.
She's getting there. She's getting there. She's almost there.
Very smart girl.
So, let us know down in the comments if you have a reason why you wouldn't suggest someone homeschool.
And if you disagree with us, tell us why you disagree with us.
I don't want to hear about your.
I do, because we might be wrong and we
no,
need
you're
to
right.
learn.
100%. I'm interested in hearing if you all disagree, because sometimes it takes perspective. If you have especially if you give an example of why, like, hey, I had a friend who was like this and they did this and it worked, and I'm like, oh wow, you know what?
The spouse one is one that I'm struggling with.
Really? Yeah, I can't. If my husband is a hard no, I'm not gonna go against what he's saying.
I'm not gonna go against my husband. First of all, my husband wouldn't play that game, and that's one reason why I married him. I need me a strong man. That's important to me. However, I'm not going to probably give up.
Oh no, I'm not saying give up. I'm just you just need to wait.
Yeah, because
you don't just start. I wouldn't just start doing it.
There's not a lot of things that me and my husband aren't together on that we do for our children. Like, usually, if one of us are, it's usually like, you know what, you're oddly more passionate about this than I am, so I'm gonna back off about that, and that's usually how we deal with things. So if he is against it, but some reason I feel like I need to be forward, then I'm going to be questioning that deeply, because that's not our normal. So I think that you got to really take it with each couple. Like, it depends on the couple. Like, there's rarely that something that I'm very passionate about my husband's going to come against. Like, it's just, when it comes to the kids, it's just, it doesn't happen very often.
Well, Mike wasn't on board before we started homeschooling, and I just prayed. I'm like, well, Lord, you're going to find a place for us to put our kids, for school, a good school for them, or you're going to change my husband's heart. And that's what happened. And then at 4 years old, I was homeschooling my daughter. So.
Ooh, you can homeschool at preschool too, because there's no preschool for a lot of people. So you can homeschool at preschool, showing your spouse that you can do it.
That's true. If your kids are young, this is a good time to start and see like how much they've been able to learn with me.
Yeah. I
have resources, these places. I didn't just make it all up, like there's so many ways that you can show that you can do it. And sometimes it's not, and I hate to say it like that, but sometimes you have to prove that to the other person. Yeah. And sometimes it's family members, they need proof. The proof is sometimes seeing your kids graduate, right?
Well, because no good father, or if mom or dad, if they're saying no, you can't homeschool my children, they're more worried about
the outcome.
Yeah, they're not trying to be jerks. I mean, they're just trying to figure out.
They're worried about the outcome. This was best.
Exactly. So I mean, you gotta think about that. That's why I'm saying, if my husband was like no, I'm like, well, why? Well, what is it? You know what I mean? But that wasn't the case with us. He told me I should homeschool, and I told him no. So.
And then
Well, it's Michael. He always gets what he wants.
But clearly your will broke.
Yes,
And you're
it's
like, well,
Michael.
let's just see.
It's Michael. He's just like
convinced. Yep. I wouldn't suggest that the poking.
no. We were really at a point where we just needed another option,
Yeah.
and that was an option. So we both love our kids, and I was like, fine, because I was like, well, what are we gonna do with all these kids all day, you know? And while you're off working for hours, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm barely hanging on here, and I got a few hours where they go away, where I got this 1.5-year-old, and that was my other thing. It was like I loved how my kids would go to school, and that one child it was always a new kid. I was going to get that time with them alone, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was really looking forward to that time again.
I get that.
And he was like, "No, we're going to take that away." And I'm like,
but
I mean,
take it away.
the funny thing is, we still did get that time. I didn't expect it, you know. We did, because the other ones were running and playing with each other, and I still did get that time with them. So it worked out.
I love it.
Anyway, so yeah, that's it. Again, let us know in the comment section what you think. You know, do you hate us after this? Tell us about it.
You don't, right? We don't need to be liked a little bit on social.
No, I guess we kind of have to be.
We kind of need you to like us a little bit to watch this video. And like this video, subscribe, comment,
you know,
something.
routine. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, don't forget to check our description box for free resources, complete homeschool guide, course. It's a course. It's a homeschooling one. Everything you need to know to homeschool down in the description, as well as free resource guide that shows you lots of free resources that you can use in your homeschooling journey, as well as good curriculum options that you might be looking for. And also, should you need advice on homeschooling, like we said earlier, career homeschoolers, we can help you. Consultations below.
Our blood, our DNA, and put it into all these resources below. So
I don't know about the blood, but probably the sweat and the tears.
Oh gosh,
for sure.
I felt like it was blood. It was a lot. It was a lot. So please use it, love it, share it, let it bless you, because it's literally for free, and it was just because we love this community so much.
That's right.
We love our homeschool community, and we want you guys to have what we didn't have and even more.
That's right.
Why make it hard? Make it easy.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you all in the next.
Bye.
We'll see you all in the next one.
Bye.